So let's talk about Autognomes, because it's my wife's favorite, and I adore the art. You see the art and you have to love them.
Yes, so Autognomes are not new to this edition. They existed back in the original Spelljammer, where they were monsters only. This is the first time you get to play one.
Autognomes, to me, are utterly delightful. They lean into two elements of gnomes that I have always adored, and that is whimsy and tinkering. And Autognome is for if you like gnomes, but you actually want to be a thing a gnome made, that's what an Autognome is. Autognomes have been in the game for a long, long time. They appeared in Spelljammer many years ago. They are a chance for you to play a construct, which is unusual.
I have to say Acquisitions Inc. was partly to blame for this. Because at one point I introduced the idea of the beer bot, the gnome-sized beer
That's
beer
right, I
golem.
remember, yeah.
Yeah, and that never actually left my brain. And when it came time to figure out what to offer up potentially for race options, I thought, let's do a construct. Different from the Warforged, who are kind of a construct, but they're also kind of living.
Yeah.
Just a full-blown construct. I thought that would be cool because that taps into another bit of my Star Trek history with Commander Data.
Right.
This idea of the mechanical being who has to sort of coexist with living beings and find their place, I think is just an interesting story, and the Autognome helps tell that story.
The Autognome, by the way, was super popular in Unearthed Arcana when we released that UA. Because I think people really responded to, again, the whimsy, how special it is that you basically get to, have your sort of android fantasy.
Yeah.
And they have unusual abilities. They, I think, also would pair extremely well with the Artificer class if people have Tasha's Cauldron of Everything or Eberron Rising from the Last War. Definitely the Artificer and the Autognome are bubbling up from the sort of same part of the D&D cauldron.
Very, very tempting to make an assassin droid out of the Autognome too, though, with a little extra D4 of help in the armor.
Yes, yeah, yeah. They have defensive capability because of they have hard material that's a part of their structure, similar to what we did in the Artificer of. The Artificer having a knack for succeeding at things, like having the right tool for the job, having a flash of genius. We reflected that in the Autognome by giving them, the sort of a tool that can push their success. It gives them that D4 they can roll and add to rolls a certain number of times per day. They're also special among constructs in that they can actually be healed by certain healing spells because the gnomes who made them were clever and actually designed them so that widely available healing magic would actually work on these creations. Particularly because, and I view this almost as sort of, it was an ethical thing that the gnome creators did, because the Autognomes are not objects. They have consciousness, they have souls. Really an amazing creation. You can almost view this as the height of gnomish invention, that they managed to create actual people and a people who are steering their own destiny.
So they're short, small-sized constructs, gnome-like, but their construction methods vary wildly. They're not assembly line gnomes. Every one was built lovingly and crafted using unique materials. So you could be an Autognome who has, maybe your creator's beating heart inside of you, like they sacrificed a piece of themselves to create you. Whereas your Autognome buddy might be powered by cogs or stardust, or have some sort of like crystalline core that's sort of powering them. Every gnome has their own sort of creation process, and that creates for us tremendous variety.
Yeah, it's just very appealing. I have a soft spot for AI and robots in general, and this is like itching that scratch in a big way.
Yeah. One of the things we did with the Autognome is put a little table in there to help you sort of come up with why you were created and what sort of set you on your path to adventure.
And again, that art is ridiculous. So,
yeah, one of the things we did with the art was make sure we were showing off multiple examples of each race option.
Most of these are typically made by like a particular creator. But I do want an adventure that's like the rise of the Autognomes. That is very grimdark.
See, whereas I'm imagining the Autognome utopia.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You can imagine the sort of island of misfit toys, but it's all Autognomes, and they've made it delightful.
If you liked this interview and you'd like to see more, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell symbol so you're notified anytime a video like this comes out. Thank you so much for watching.